Here I am in your life.
Here you are
in
mine.
Yes, we have a sweet life. Most
Movie.
of the time. Oh, hey, yo. This boat's rocking. Oh, hey, yo. It's a mashup.
Even though it's entirely a Sweet Life on Deck movie.
'Cause we're living the sweet life now. Let's go. Oh, hey, yo.
Are they even in a suite in the boat?
They're in a room.
That's not really a suite, though.
It's a hotel boat.
Not all hotel rooms are suites.
Well, I feel like they didn't even live in a suite.
They had a nice room on the show.
They had one bedroom and a kitchen.
I thought it was more fancy than that.
They had one bedroom, a kitchen, and a living room.
If they didn't live in a suite, why was it called Sweet Life?
'Cause we're living the sweet life now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the DCOM Duel podcast.
What the heck? I usually say that.
Well, too bad. It's a Sweet Life movie, and we got the twin connection going between us.
Yeah, you just read my mind.
Yes. I'm Benji.
I'm Kelsey.
This is the DCOM Duo podcast. We watched the Sweet Life movie.
Yes, we did. Wow.
If I had it my way, we would turn off the podcast right now.
Yeah, you know what? You want to know our thoughts? It was bad. Bye-bye.
We are not going to be Sweet Life show haters.
No.
We're not going to delve to that or anything like that. We have a lot of thoughts that we will be able to share. In this movie, at least stuff happens in the movie.
That's true.
But
stuff, it has a plot.
Yes.
It does.
But it's just a struggle to get through. It's not a good time.
It's just, it's not a good time. That's a good way to phrase it. Like, you're watching the movie and you're just waiting for it to be over.
And again, it's not because it doesn't have a plot. It's entirely just
it's not
the plot isn't interesting. The dialogue's bad. The characters are unlikable.
Yep.
Every aspect of the film doesn't really entertain. The most that gets entertaining is just being a little out there sometimes, having concepts that could be cool, but it doesn't feel like it pays off on any of that, especially on more of a grounded show.
Yeah.
Not that weird stuff doesn't happen on the Sweet Life shows, because weird stuff does happen.
Especially on deck, weird stuff would happen, I feel like.
Like they would get trapped on an island and stranded during the middle of a ship's at sea day or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's usually evil twins trying to take over the world by mind melding as a episode plot.
No, I don't think so.
Spoilers, by the way.
You want to just get into the factos?
Yeah, we can get to the factos. We've talked enough about this. Well, before the factos, fan mail.
We don't have any.
We don't have any fan mail. If you want to talk to us about the podcast, about Sweet Life movie, about any other DCOM that we've either covered already or we'll cover in the future, or anything else in general, email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Yeah. Well, yeah, no comments otherwise. Factos. Sweet Life movie released March 25th, 2011. It was the 82nd DCOM.
I was 12. I felt 11. Like I would have been older.
Yeah, because I feel like I didn't watch the show at all. And this came out when the show was basically over.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I did watch the show, I feel like pretty much to the end. Which I guess makes sense since I was 12, 13 when it ended, probably. I
definitely watched a lot of Sweet Life.
Of Zack and Cody.
The OG series. Yeah. And I did not watch much of the On Deck, which my adult brain, from the little I've seen from clips of both of them, feels like was the right choice.
Yeah, the original show was definitely better than On Deck.
Yeah. Maybe I should have put some factos down about the shows, but this is... Have we done a TV show-based movie yet on.
Haven't we?
I don't think we have.
We did Kim Possible.
We did Kim Possible, but that's
a little different
because it was a live action, basically, reboot. We also did Tangled Before Ever After. That's like a pilot episode.
That was a pilot, yeah.
So this is the first one where it's like a part of the series.
Yes.
And yeah, I probably should have put more notes down about Sweet Life on Deck.
But we're not here to talk about the show. We're here to talk about the movie.
This does fit into the overarching plot of it. Barely, but it does.
I mean, it's a long, stupid episode, basically, is how you can boil it down.
Yeah. The director of this movie is Sean McNamara. He also directed the Even Stevens movie.
I thought his name sounded familiar.
Yeah. He also directed Bratz and Soul Surfer. That's just two wildly different levels of like, remembered quality.
Bratz, which Bratz? Like the live action
Bratz? The live action Bratz. He also directed several episodes of Disney shows like Shake It Up, Sunny with a Chance, Jonas, That's So Raven, Even Stevens, Phil of the Future, the pilot episode of that, interestingly.
I loved Phil of the Future.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more.
Nah, that's pretty much, I did. I loved it.
And he's Christy Carlson Romano's godfather.
What?
That's impossible.
Oh my god. And she's an Even Stevens, which, I mean, he directed more.
So, Nepo baby? Kinda. Moving on to the cast. A few bit of names here. First, we got the Sprouse twins, obviously.
Yeah, our main characters.
I try to separate these two because they've been judged together for their entire lifetime.
They've done different things.
A lot of their early childhood stuff is either like they have a Wikipedia page exclusively to their twin filmography.
Yeah.
And then it goes into their individuals.
Growing up, they did all the same stuff as twins, and then they split up.
For those who don't know, I don't know if this is still true to this day, but California at the time had child labor laws that really limited how much child actors could act, which is good. This is not a bad thing, but as such, identical twins got very popular for kid roles. It's the same reason that the Olsen twins.
Yep, they were cast in Full House so that you could have more of the baby in the show because they could both work.
They can both be in the same, like they are the same one character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zach and Cody did that for a lot of stuff. Their big start was in the film Big Daddy. It's an Adam Sandler film.
I like how you said Zach and Cody. Dylan and Cole.
Dylan and Cole. They got their start in Big Daddy with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And then obviously they're both in both Sweet Life films.
Yeah. But just as twins.
Yeah. And then they did a bunch of other stuff where they either both played an individual person or they played twins in something. I just said, you know what? I want to talk about where they went different. So Cole Sprouse, he's probably the more famous one out of the two.
Probably.
Even though we both agree Zach's.
You mean Dylan?
Dylan is better.
I like Dylan. How I have it
written down is like confusing my brain.
Cole Sprouse is pretty infamous for having really weird interviews online. He's a weird guy.
And like nothing that's like abhorrent.
No, just weird.
Just like I wouldn't want to hang out with the dude.
No.
If you want to record a podcast, I will, because that would be interesting. But like, I don't know if I want to hang out with you. I just don't feel like we would match.
Yeah.
So after Sweet Life on Deck, Cole Sprouse went to NYU for college and graduated in GIS and archaeology.
Oh.
That's what he majored in. And then immediately after being done with that, he went back into acting. Got the role of Jughead Jones in Riverdale.
Yeah.
Where he was big on Riverdale for the foreseeable future. Riverdale like just ended.
Pretty massive show. Yeah. Riverdale. I've never watched it, but I did know he was.
It's a cultural phenomenon in its own way. And then I put down, because I just kept seeing ads for it this year, he was the creature in Lisa Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very recent movie.
Yeah. Now for Dylan Sprouse, he also was in Big Daddy with Adam Sandler and both Sweet Lives. As a kid, he was the Siberian Husky in Snow Buddies.
Fun.
Yeah. I forgot to mention Cole Sprouse was also, and not Dylan Sprouse. Cole Sprouse was in Friends.
I was going to ask. I thought they were in Friends. It was just
only Cole Sprouse.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to get one thing from their childhood that they each were in. which was Dylan Sprouse was in Snow Buddies
Yeah.
as a Siberian Husky,
Nice.
and Cole Sprouse was in Friends as Ross's kid Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After Sweet Life on Deck, Dylan Sprouse also went to college, also to NYU, but he got a degree in video game design.
Fun.
Which is definitely just I'm having fun. I also find it funny. I feel like this matches both of their characters in what they would study.
Yeah, maybe a little more. Yeah,
a science degree for Cody and
video game
for Zach.
Yeah.
Dylan Sprouse recently has been in After We Collided.
Oh my god! Can I talk about
Sure
Dylan Sprouse? Because I am a fan of the After series,
and you're willing to admit that online.
I am. Are they good movies? No.
You're listening to a podcast about the Sweet Life movie. I don't think anyone can blame you for liking a bad movie.
They're exactly what I want them to be, which is like a Wattpad fan fiction that was originally Harry Styles fan fiction. After We Collided is the best one of the series. I haven't seen the most recent one, for the record, which is After Everything. I have not watched After Everything, but my favorite definitely is After We Collided. I was so excited that Dylan Sprouse is in it because, like, he really hadn't acted in like a long time. Like, oh my god,
no major-ish roles.
I was so excited. He's Dylan Sprouse, who's kind of like a nerdy guy, which is like so different than Zach. And he did great. And then he didn't come back for any of the other movies, which I'm pretty sure his character was still in the books. I haven't read the books, but he just wasn't in the other movies, and I was really sad. But then one night when Benji was out of town and I was home alone, I got my wine and I'm like, I need to watch a movie like that gives me After vibes. And I was scrolling through Hulu and I saw Beautiful Disaster. And I'm like, is that Dylan Sprouse again? Yes. And he plays like bad boy fighter, all tatted up. And he makes a bet with this girl that if he like doesn't get hit in this fight, she has to live with him in his apartment for a full month. And then they do. And it's kind of like an enemies to lovers thing. And it was amazing. It was the same producers as After and the whole After series. And now there's a sequel coming out.
It's already come out.
It's already come out apparently, but I haven't watched it yet. Beautiful Wedding. So I'm excited to revisit these characters. And I thought Dylan Sprouse like was so fun. You see a lot of his butt in Beautiful Disaster. So if you want to know what his butt looks like, you can go watch that movie. These movies are explicit, by the way.
Yeah, I did not need to do any research on this, even though I did. You just explained everything.
I can explain it because I know. I definitely prefer Dylan Sprouse over Cole Sprouse, even though like I haven't really watched Cole Sprouse in his projects, I guess, but I've seen some of his weird interviews.
So moving on to the role of London Tipton is the DCOM queen herself, Brenda Song. We have talked about her twice already.
We don't need to get too deep into her. Yeah, we have. It's been twice.
We believe she's the only person in 5 unique DCOMs.
Yes.
She may be the only one in 5 general.
Yeah.
We found multiple people with 4.
Yes, a lot of people have 4.
But we have not figured out anyone who has 5 unique ones.
Yeah, not that we've like really deep dived into it, but we have seen every single Disney Channel original movie, and like you can kind of off the top of your head think about who's been in a lot.
Yeah.
And Brenda Song is the only one we can say has been in 5, and it's really cool that they're all completely separate from each other.
Yeah, there's no sequels in there, which is interesting. So she's Wendy Wu in Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior. She's in Get a Clue. She's in Stuck in the Suburbs. She's in Ultimate Christmas Present. And of course, she's in Sweet Life movie.
Yes.
So yeah. She's in both Sweet Lives.
The shows.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, they carried her over from the first show.
Yeah. I believe the only 4 people there's only 4 characters they carry over.
Yeah, the twins London and Mosby. Like Maddie's gone, their parents are gone. Other friends that they had, like Allison Stoner was in the first one, the first show too.
But yeah, they said no, we're just gonna all you actors are getting too expensive. We're gonna switch what's going on.
Yeah, I wonder if Ashley Tisdale was like, I'm done.
It's possible.
or maybe they just ended the show and
She was still on Disney Channel after
she
that
did
because
Phineas and
Phineas and
Ferb,
Ferb. So
but that's voice acting, like that's a little different.
yeah. Yeah, we've already talked about Brenda Song quite a bit, so I'm not going to mention too much. One thing that I do believe has changed since we recorded Wendy Wu, or I don't know if we mentioned it, is she's currently a part of the Netflix animated show that's got a lot of love, Blue Eye Samurai.
Oh,
I don't know much about it, but that's like one of the most recent things on here. She's a major role in that.
oh, Queen.
Yeah, that's like got a bunch of animated awards, so
Ooh.
good for her that. Next, playing the role of Bailey Pickett is the one, the only history maker, Debbie Ryan.
Wow. Debbie Ryan. Haven't had to talk about her yet.
No. I feel like this is the wrong time to talk about her. I feel like we should save her big deep dive for Radio Rebel.
Yeah, we could just brief over her.
But yeah, she's on Sweet Life at Deck. She also was the main cast member of Jessie.
That was her like
her show.
starring role show, yeah.
She's the star of Radio Rebel.
Another DCOM.
And I put the fake DCOM. This is one of the DCOMs that are most arguable to be a DCOM. 16 Wishes.
Yeah, it definitely feels like one and probably should be one, but technically isn't.
Yeah. There's a few like that. Again, at some point I plan to make just a more detailed explanation of what we count as DCOMs and what we don't.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll do a special episode of 16 Wishes. We have watched it.
Yeah.
We haven't seen every fake DCOM,
No.
like adjacent DCOM, but we have seen this one.
Yeah, she was in various parts of other Disney shows. She was the lead role in the Netflix show Insatiable. She was a part of the band The Never Ending. It didn't really have any hits or anything.
She a singer?
Yeah. Of course she
I
would
feel like
be.
she's not
that good of
really
a singer, I know.
Yeah.
But of course she is. And just something I'm like, okay. She's married to the 21 Pilots drummer Josh Dunn.
Okay.
Yep.
There's only 2 guys in 21 Pilots.
Yep.
And she's married to one
of them.
That's fun.
She's in like some of their music videos.
There is more to talk about Debbie Ryan. Like she is in a lot of memes, but we can just save it for Radio Rebel.
We'll save the Debbie Ryan meme talk for her movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing the role of Woody Fink is Matthew Timmons. He now goes by Matthew Nogues.
Yeah, he changed his name.
I believe, yes, according to IMDb.
Okay.
He was a recurring role on Sweet Life on Deck. He's like one of the friends.
Yep.
Other than Sweet Life on Deck, Sweet Life movie, he has 1 episode of Jessie and 1 episode of Yay Me starring London Tipton. That's a web show. And that's his entire filmography.
He's only done Sweet Life stuff.
Yes.
And then Jessie one time.
Yes.
Wow.
So he did not become a Disney star.
Yeah. He didn't really have the star quality for it.
He does not leave a mark to me.
No. He was the goofy friend. He was in Sweet Life on Deck from the very beginning, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Playing the role of Mr. Mosby, Marion Mosby, is Phil Lewis. He was on both Sweet Life shows.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of small roles on various TV shows, but I actually found more interesting. He's surprisingly prolific as a director for TV shows.
Oh.
Like, he directed several episodes. By several, I mean like the majorities are like 10 to 15 episodes of the iCarly revival, of Bunked. Those are just like Disney shows. The Odd Couple.
iCarly is not Disney.
Sorry, the kids shows.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Undateable, Jessie, Two Broke Girls, Mike and Molly, Ant Farm, Good Luck Charlie, Sweet Life on Deck.
Wow.
Like, he directed a lot of. It was surprising to see him have directed like 400 episodes of TV.
He's definitely been around Disney a lot. And like, we were just watching Phineas and Ferb, but we're like, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the, like a one-off character. Yeah. He's Mr. Mosby.
Prior to all Disney involvement, I don't even know if we necessarily need to mention this, but it's the tragedy he's known for as well. He got a DWI and manslaughter charge for killing someone while drunk driving. Well, I found it interesting that I was reading up on it. It was just he received 5 years in prison for it, but only served 1 because he received such praise from the courts for his prison-based theater troupe that would go around to like churches and other jails and talk about the effects of drug abuse,
Wow.
which is just kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Playing the role of Dr. Donald Spaulding is John Ducey. Minor TV actor. His best known role is probably he was the dad in Jonas.
Oh.
Which is the Jonas Brothers show where their name isn't even Jonas.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What? Then why are they called Jonas? Is that their band name? Someone who's watched Jonas, please tell us.
Other than going through his TV roles, I would like to just say I found this fun fact. I'm like, I gotta put this in. This is something that I love. I know of this person. His grandfather was Johnny Dickshot. Johnny Dickshot, also known as Ugly Dickshot, was considered the ugliest person in baseball history. He doesn't even look that ugly, but it's just so great. Such a baseball name to have Ugly Dickshot.
He's not even ugly. No. I just looked him up. He's not ugly.
It's pretty great, though. I love the name Ugly Dickshot.
It's so mean.
He named himself ugly. Okay. Like, he called himself ugly.
Okay, I feel like everyone should have just been supportive of him instead of being like, yeah, you're ugly.
Well, now he's remembered forever. Although Johnny Dickshot is also a great name.
Yeah. Dickshot's just a funny last name.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, imagine your grandfather being best known as being the ugliest player in baseball. Playing the role of Dr. Ronald Olson is Matthew Glave. He's a longtime minor TV actor, still working today. Just some random things that he was like Wedding Singer, Picket Fences, ER. No major credits. Finally, I put Nellie Smith down. Nellie Smith is the character, played by Caitlin Pasito.
But did she play both twins?
No, her real life twin sister also played in the role.
Oh, you just don't care about her twin sister.
They did a couple of small things in the Disney sphere, including Good Luck Charlie, Pair of Kings, I'm in the Band, and then Everyone Hates Chris, which isn't a Disney thing, but whatever. She is a real life identical twin with Cara Pasito, who did basically identical stuff. Almost all.
They were cast
Every
as twins.
acting credit was a twin related thing.
Mm-hmm.
I briefly remember looking at the Ben and Sven, and I didn't see anything of note. I believe they also had that, but I don't actually remember that. I might be lying. And that's it. For the fun facts, chronologically, this movie was both released and canonically taking place as the penultimate episode of the series.
Really?
Yes.
I guess they talk about going to college and stuff, so...
Yes.
Wow.
So the movie was released, like, I want to say, what did I say, March 25th? And then in May, the final episode went, but this was the previous episode was the week before.
Okay.
So, regardless, that's how the timeline works. If you're trying to watch the full show in series, you watch all of Sweet Life 1, all of Sweet Life 2, except the last episode, the movie, and then the last episode.
Yeah.
In the final episode of the show, spoilers for the show, Cody's rejected by Yale.
I think I remember that.
Bailey is accepted. So the whole plot of this movie doesn't work. Yeah, they split. They say, like, I'll come visit you, but that's it.
Yeah. You ready for the Disney Plus subscription?
Give me the Disney Plus subscription.
Oh, you didn't say DPD this time. During spring break, Cody, Cole Sprouse, and Zach, Dylan Sprouse, are approached to join the Gemini Project, a high-tech research center studying the dynamics between twins. Shockingly, they find themselves interconnected in a way they've never been before. When one twin experiences a sensation, thought, or feeling, the other twin does too. While this newfound revelation helps the boys see eye to eye for the first time, it puts them in more danger than they could have imagined.
I feel like this does not give a great description of the events. It's fine as like an intro, like everything it's said in here is true.
Pretty much is the plot, though.
But they don't mention anything about the dolphins, which is where everything starts. So if you went in just reading the description, you'd be going for like 15 minutes and you're like,
you go like 20 minutes before they even talk about it.
What are we talking about the Gemini project,
Yeah.
and they don't talk about how much they're bickering. Like them seeing eye to eye for the first time is like in the last 20 minutes.
No, it's when they start feeling empathy.
Yeah, which is like the last 20 minutes,
No,
I
it's
thought.
not. Is it?
It's pretty late.
All right, ready to jump into the movie?
I am ready to stepsister from Planet Weird into the movie.
All right, so our movie opens in on the cruise ship that they live on, and a really lame pop song plays this whole opening.
It's
It
a
was
long opening and it's
stupid.
just very generic.
Yeah. Cody is writing a letter with a quill, and it's like in calligraphy, and it's to Bailey from Cody. He also buys a rose. He walks through the kitchen, and I wrote that he steals food, but like he probably paid for it, or
It's Cody.
yeah, there was a whole episode of the original show where he was like a chef, so he can cook. We know this. He grabs his 2 plates of food on like a tray. It's very fancy. Out on the deck, there's a whole table set up for them, like a romantic table, and it's closed off from everyone else. And Cody's setting it up. And then Zach and Woody show up, and Cody immediately is like, "Go away, Zach. I hate you, Zach." Like he hates him right off the bat.
Something again, Kelsey and I have not seen these shows since childhood outside maybe a couple of episodes randomly.
Mm-hmm.
We both agree this does not feel like they're dynamic, but I gotta remember this is right at the end of the series when the characters are the most flanderized they've ever been.
Yeah. Maybe they did have a fight in the penultimate of the show.
Yeah.
Like maybe they aren't getting along right now. I don't know. We'd have to like watch the show to really find out.
And I don't really want to do that. But
No.
regardless, the whole way I felt the original show worked was they bicker with siblings and they're usually a team. They actually work together on a lot of their shenanigans.
When they were living in the hotel, they were definitely a team.
They're foils in a lot of ways, but at the same time, the enemy's Mosby. The enemy's not each other.
Yeah, they would hang out. They had their little I thing. Like they were different, but most of the time they were getting along, I think.
Yeah.
They were not like this. And maybe they just fought more on the boat, like thinking of Sweet Life on Deck. Maybe they didn't like each other as much, but this just feels so jarring. And it's the whole movie and it gets old immediately. So strap in, everyone.
We're not going to be saying many good things.
Yeah. So they're like, Cody, you haven't told Bailey yet that you're not that you're like not hanging out with her over spring break. You're doing an internship instead. And he's like, I'm gonna tell her in this letter, whatever. And they're like, Bailey could totally take you. What they mean is beat him up, but the way they say it is she could take you if she wanted.
They imply that Bailey beats Cody a little bit.
Well, I think,
and that's like not good.
They're really just implying that Bailey's strong because she grew up on a farm, and Cody's a very weak boy.
But it's also like the whole time later on when they get to the confrontation, it's like she's worried she's gonna punch him, which is not a healthy relationship thing. Not. And it's played for laugh because probably males being physically abused is often played for laughter, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really, again, haven't seen the show in a long time. Doesn't feel like I never cheered for them. I don't think they work well together. And I think this is kind of an example why. Like, I don't think Cody's a good person in this film at all.
No.
But regardless, I don't think Bailey's good for him. And I feel like
every character in this movie sucks except maybe London, but she's stupid.
London is her normal self.
But she, like, they amp up her stupidity so much. But she was so
stupid in the first show, too.
I know, but, like, not like this. She was stupid, but, like, in a much more subdued way, I feel like.
Again, like, all these characters, we've spent, like, 200 episodes of a show with these characters.
What's left for them to do other than to be their stereotype?
It's the same, like, any show that runs that long, that's a scripted show, uh, results in characters becoming stereotypes of themselves.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep them fresh and unique,
Yeah.
especially on a children's show where they're not allowed to change that much.
Mhm.
Like, there's not allowed to have character arcs, really.
All right. So Cody kicks them out, but Zach's like, hey, I'll break the news to Bailey. And in return, you give me the vintage car that we were promised going to college. And Cody's like, no, the car is promised to me because I'm actually going to college and
This
you're
is
not.
weirdly, like, plot important. The whole movie kind of depends on Zach's desire to have this sports car,
Yeah.
and it never feels justified to me.
No. And it's weird that the parents are only giving it to Cody and Zach doesn't get anything. Is it really just because
They
Cody's
said,
going to college?
if you go to college, we'll buy you a car.
Oh, okay.
Is basically what the whole thing was. And Zach's not going to college, apparently.
No, he's too stupid. Don't you know he's the stupid one? And then they fight over the letter and it like starts to fall into the ocean. Apparently it doesn't fall into the ocean. It falls on a lower deck. It like blows around in the wind, which is ridiculous because it's like pages and pages and pages long.
It's in an envelope.
It's in an envelope, but like it should be heavy that enough that it just falls right into the ocean.
Yeah, you're right. But also, whatever. And they keep playing this off. Zach, for the lack of a better word, is just an asshole.
So is Cody.
Yeah, Cody's not good.
They're
but
both
Zach's
assholes.
actions are bad, whereas Cody's words are just mean.
Yeah.
But Cody's not actually doing anything wrong. He's just being
Snarky
and not fun to be around.
Yeah.
Whereas Zach is literally
Rude.
sabotaging everything.
Yeah, he is.
To try and get a car off of his brother that he has no right to.
Yeah. Cody's like, no, that took me 14 hours to write.
Yeah, with that big quill, I can imagine.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, Zach, you always ruin everything. And now Cody has to use his actual words to tell Bailey. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
So we see the letter float down to the lower deck. It's like under a chair, so it won't get found for a while. Cut to Cody and Bailey walking on the deck. Bailey's going on about how excited she is for spring break. It's their last spring break together. And Cody's like, oh, yeah. Haha.
Also, someone playing a violin walks by.
Oh my gosh, this is so important later. Cody is about to tell her everything, but then Zach gets lowered down on one of those like lifesaver circle tube thingies. He's like, Woody's holding the rope and lowers him down. Cody's like, I told you to go away or leave me alone or whatever. And Zach's like, well, technically I'm not standing near you, so it's fine. I don't remember him saying don't stand near me.
I think
he probably did.
You can't stand anywhere here.
Okay. And he's like, well, I'm not standing, so it's fine. I still want the car, and mom and dad won't give it to me since it was promised to you. Like, you have to tell them it's okay to give it to me. And Cody's like, go away. And then Zach's like, oh, you haven't told her yet? Hey, Bailey, Cody's doing an internship this spring break and isn't hanging out with you. And Bailey's like, what the fuck? This is our last spring break together. You let me go on and on about how excited I was. We didn't even do anything.
Yeah, bad at communication. They're bad together. Also, I'm just going to say it now because I'm going to be mad about it the whole time. What the hell is a 5-day scholarship? Because this is spring break.
It's literally a week.
We don't know for a fact, I guess. Well, I think it is. They come back at the end of this after a week.
Pretty sure they say it's only a week. Like when he goes to do the internship.
What?
It's weird. He's like, I have to do this internship. And then Bailey storms off and Zach's like, well, you should have told her that you're only doing it to get a scholarship to Yale.
And he's like, it was in the letter. But it was like, in the letter. Say it, dude.
Just say it. Also, okay. The whole movie, I'll just bring it up now. They act like Cody wanting a scholarship to Yale excuses everything.
Yeah, it doesn't, but...
It doesn't. Like, these 5 days doing an internship is going to get you a scholarship to Yale, and that makes ditching your girlfriend okay? You still didn't tell her for probably weeks.
Why didn't you tell her when you were writing in to try and get the scholarship?
Yeah.
Like,
Why would you plan this elaborate spring break with your girlfriend and then lie to her about
How
it? But
long
it's
did
like,
you know that you were going to do this?
it's okay because he just is doing it to get a scholarship to Yale. And maybe it's because Bailey is like going to Yale and so he wants to be with her. So he's doing everything he can to be with her.
But also at the same time, he doesn't even get into Yale at the end.
He doesn't even get into Yale.
And like, also, he's trying to get a scholarship to Yale.
This is such Disney Channel logic because in High School Musical 3, they act like the only way to get into college is a scholarship. Like scholarship equals acceptance in Disney Channel's mind.
You can get some of that tips and fortune, honestly.
I doubt it. You think London would
sponsor Cody going to college?
Why?
Just tell London it's for something else.
I don't know. She doesn't really throw her money around like that, does she?
No, I guess she's like, you can count my money, but you can't have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cut to some dolphins doing some tricks. They're at like a marine biology institute, and Cody and Mosby show up, and Zach also shows up. What the heck? Because he's still trying to convince Cody to give him the car, and London brought him. So like London and Mosby also get to come hang out with Cody.
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
I think is there because he's like the guardian.
He's like a chaperone, maybe.
But then London just is also the guardian. I guess she's an adult.
She just wants to hang out. She is older than like she's definitely at least 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bailey is still pissed, and Cody's like, I blame you, Zach. And London's like, I love fishies. And then London eats some of the food that the dolphins are being fed.
And it's haha funny because she spits it out after.
She spits it out. She's like, oh my God, I ate fish food. And they're like, they're not fish, they're mammals. And she's like, then why don't they have humps?
She does this joke like 5 times. Yeah. So if you didn't like it the first time, hopefully you like it the second, third, or fourth.
Zach and Cody go inside and Mosby follows. And then Cody meets Donald, the scientist. Dr. Spalding? Is that what it was?
Spalding, yes.
I always just wrote down Donald because I caught his first name. So Dr. Donald and Cody meet. And Cody is very excited for the internship and they act like nerds. And Zach's like, this is lame. And then Zach starts to follow a cute girl who works there. And she goes into like a restricted employees only area. But Zach is like, oh, I'm going to go in anyway. And
he reads the door that says unauthorized act, like no public access. And he says, Zach Martin excluded.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Like Zach can go in though. The girl goes over by the dolphins and Zach starts to flirt with her. And she's like, hi, I'm Nellie. I'm a lab tech. And he's like, hey, I'm Zach. And she's like, oh, so you're smart like Cody? How about you go operate that submarine? And he's like, okay.
I'm gonna wait till everything goes in here, but I'm gonna spoil it anyways. All of this is part of an evil scheme to have Cody lose his scholarship.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, but my God, the amount of leaps of logic that are required to presume that Zach just sees a hot girl, turns around, goes into unauthorized area without being actually led, and goes and talks and does the rest of everything that's going to come up.
Goes hops in the submarine.
It's so dumb. It does not work as a plan, and the movie acts like it does.
Yeah.
The movie acts like it's very smart and thought out when it is very not.
Yeah. So Dr. Donald's talking with Cody some more. He's like, oh, you had a great essay talking about other species and like talking with other species and what it's like to be a twin. You know, I'm also a twin. This is just like offhand mentioned. And he's like, I discovered a rare fruit that when you mix it with like DNA from a jellyfish or something, it lets you talk to dolphins. Well, that's the theory at least. And he's like, imagine if we could talk to dolphins. Sorry, side note. I wrote in here and it wants a card to ha ha he ho ho. Um, so he's like, imagine if we could talk to dolphins, we could teach them about humanity and science, and they could teach us about. Did I write that?
Because he says like, "Oh, we can teach them about science, and they can teach them about like just dolphin noises."
I forgot. I thought he was a weird laugh, not the dolphin noise.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
they could
literally a
teach us
dolphin
about
noise.
whatever a dolphin noise. Okay, it's a weird joke. So,
If I had a nickel for each DCOM we have covered on this podcast that is centered around talking to dolphins, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's kind of weird that it's happened twice.
This movie veers away quickly from talking to. Although I guess it comes back.
It doesn't really.
It comes back.
It's London's entire arc.
That's so true. All right, Mosby realizes that Zach isn't with them anymore, so he goes to find him. Meanwhile, Donald shows Cody some dolphins, and they're like in the underwater part, so they can see like there's a glass opening, like an aquarium. And they can see the dolphins go by.
One keeps coming up to the
one of the dolphins is dumb and keeps hitting the glass. And Donald is like, I can tell that the dolphins want to like talk to us just as much as we do.
Not talk to us, just want it.
Like he wants it just as much as we do. And Cody says, exactly how close are you? And Donald says, we're just really good friends. Why? What have you heard? And Cody's like, I meant how close are you with the research? And Donald's like, oh, he definitely wants to fuck the dolphin.
There is no other way to read this other than he either wants to have sex with the dolphin or has already had sex with the dolphin.
Yeah. He's like, the dolphin wants it too.
We were talking. I'm gonna try and look this up.
Yeah, so this is what I've heard. This is what I think they're referencing. I heard that there was a research about trying to communicate with dolphins, and one of the researchers could tell that the dolphin was sexually frustrated and jacked off the dolphin. And I feel like this is a reference to that.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's gotta be. If it's not and it's just a joke, it's a wild
It's a weird joke.
I'm looking up about it. It's a real story. It's just not all the details are known about it. I'm not going to read up too much about human dolphin sexual behaviors. So let's just move on. It's a weird line. He has sexual feelings for a dolphin. Let's move past it.
Meanwhile, Zach gets in the submarine and Mosby finds him and he's like, get out of the submarine. And Zach's like,
nope, I'm gonna hit all these buttons and stuff. How does he think this is gonna get him the car?
He doesn't. He's trying to impress a girl.
I know.
He's stupid.
But not in a reasonable way.
Cody talks to Donald about Yale because he went to Yale and Cody's trying to get into Yale. In the tank in the background, you can see Zach chase after some dolphins in the submarine and Cody sees them, but Donald doesn't. And Donald's like, in school they called me, and Cody goes, idiot. And he's like, oh, no, I don't think so. And he's like, no, not you, sir. Him. And Cody like fully points Zach out. Why didn't he just try and pretend like he didn't see him?
Because Cody's actually dumb, and this is why he doesn't get into Yale.
He's like, oh my gosh, my stupid brother's in a submarine. So they go up to the surface, and obviously the solution here is for Cody to get into the other submarine and go chase Zach underwater. Doesn't that sound logical?
It does not. Because at the minimum, these are two that they multiple times say like $billion machines.
Yeah.
How in the world did this get allowed to happen at all?
That's
I know
such a good
some
point.
of this is an evil plan, but from our understanding, this is one person in the evil plan allowing all this to happen. How is there not security on this? How is there not security protocols where certain keys have to be done to get this all in? There is zero realism to this, and it's played as if it's realistic.
I don't know. So underwater, they all of a sudden have headsets on and they can talk
that
to each
just
other.
happens.
And Cody's like, get out. And Zach's like, no. And then they twirl her out of the water. And oh no, they're heading for the seawall. And they slam into the seawall, which is made of glass, and they break it. And they're like, you need to get out or you'll be sucked out into sea. So they eject from the submarines, and the wall breaks, and the submarines get sucked out to sea. And Cody's in trouble. Won't the dolphins be able to escape too?
Yeah, they will, because the glass pressure is there. And how the pressure is, they probably should have died.
They probably should have got sucked down anyway. They're wearing like life vests now, but
Whatever.
whatever.
It's dumb. This is a very dumb way to get to the plot where they're trying to get to, where I'm just done talking about it.
So Cody gets fired, and he's like, great.
Dang, I was gonna spend those 5 days. Maybe I could go hang with my girlfriend now? No.
No, he's like, I don't get my scholarship to Yale, and my girlfriend hates me, and it's all your fault, Zach. And Zach's like, you'll be fine.
You know what will make it even more fun? If you give me your car.
And then Cody's like, this isn't like the other time, Zach. This is my whole future. I will never, ever forgive you. I hate you. And Zach goes, that's harsh. And Cody's like, I'm done. We may be twins, but we are not brothers.
Oof.
And a janitor guy watches from behind like a bush or something. And Nellie goes up to him and says, did I do a good job, sir? So something shady's going on. Anyway, let's go back to the we may be twins, but we're not brothers. Iconic line.
Oh, it goes hard.
It really just stabs a knife in your heart, doesn't it?
All of those fans of Sweet Life have been watching the whole time. You're like, they could never get repaired after this.
I wish at the beginning of the movie they
liked each other like
each
normal.
other normal.
Because
Yeah.
if you let this be the starting conflict and have them start with some camaraderie around them,
Yeah.
it would work so much better. Where this is like the step too far, where it can't be like.
Yeah, but Cody just already hated him. So it makes it worse. It makes the whole movie unenjoyable.
Yep.
All right, cut to Bailey and London talking. Bailey is still mad at Cody. Cody tries to call Bailey, but she doesn't answer. London says some stupid stuff. And Bailey's like, you know what? I'm going to ignore him. And
Bailey
then
has a whole arc in this movie that is really filler.
It's so filler.
It is just, I'm going to ignore Cody. Maybe I shouldn't ignore Cody.
I'm mad
at
Cody.
His contact.
Yeah.
I'm mad at him. I love him.
I love him. Cody, whatever. And then as they're leaving, London talks to a dolphin. Like she's just able to fully talk to the dolphin. The dolphin's like, I like your dress. And she's like, thank you. Okay. So Zach finds Cody. And he's like, look who I brought. It's Dr. Donald. He's back. And he's like, hey, Cody, you're never ever going to work for me again, but I have another internship that I think you would be good for. You can join the Gemini Project. It's like our dolphin research, but it's about twins. And Cody's like, oh my God, I'm a twin. I'm the superior twin. And he's like, yeah, Dr. Olson runs it. And he's really excited to bring Cody you on. He's excited to bring you on. But here's the kicker. Zach has to come too, since it's a study about twins. Like, it's required that he comes with you.
Zach seems not that into this idea after Cody really hates the idea because he's really fighting about it. Yeah. But Zach also says he's like not into it.
Well, he doesn't want to be part of the research.
But here's the thing. He brought Dr.
He's trying to make it up to Cody swinging at the car.
Yeah.
The
car doesn't buy you happiness.
Yeah, Cody is like, no way am I bringing Zach. And Dr. Donald is like, yeah, this could help you apply for a scholarship to Yale. He shouldn't let this rivalry get in the way of that.
Are you really going to let your hatred toward your brother stop you from going to Yale?
To Yale.
Yale.
That's how he said it. Okay, I remember that joke in the show. Because Cody originally wanted to go to like Harvard. But then he's like, I'm going to Yale instead. I don't know, it was funnier in the show.
Was it?
Yeah. So cut to them riding a helicopter to the Gemini Project, and Cody like throws up or something. and they meet Dr. Olson. And yeah, so Zach and Cody are doing it. They get shown around by Dr. Olson. There's twins everywhere. There's a sawmill across the lake, and I wrote, maybe this will come back. And it does. It does come back. They had to mention that there's this abandoned sawmill across the lake, okay?
Spooky and scary.
It's spooky and scary. They're brought in to see all of the giant, like, science machines, and Cody nerds out. And I wrote that he wants to fuck the machine.
It's definitely sweet talking it.
He says, like, hey, baby, it's all right.
And he's just out of a relationship, so that's kind of weird.
They're not broken up.
It's okay, then it's extra weird. I just want to say this whole thing, it's not a real psychology experiment, so I should be less mad than I am. But this does not fit any sort of psychological practices, standards, or any type of like financial. There's no logic in this study. This is not from any psychological basis. And it bugs me.
Yeah. Zach sees Nellie with her twin. Her twin's name is Kelly. Something about this movie. Every other set of twins that you see in this movie, their names rhyme.
This is why it doesn't work for Zach and Cody.
Because their names don't rhyme. No, it does work for them. They just...
No, it doesn't work at the end.
No, it would have if they both ate the fruit.
But they fought.
What?
That's why they didn't get combined by the machine at the end. I'm saying the very end.
Oh, sorry. When they're like ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So Nellie and Kelly are like, oh yeah, we help with this research too, since it's so similar to the dolphin research.
It's really kind of weird to help out in most places, but whatever.
Dr. Olson explains that Donald is working on how to talk to dolphins, but Dr. Olson wants to connect human minds. You see, if humans can feel what each other feel, there will be more empathy. And he's like, you guys are twins that have conflict, so I'll perfect a connection for you guys and then the world. So they hook Zach up to this brain wave detecting machine thingy. And Zach has to do like the brain age test where it says it's written a color out, but it also is a color, but they're different. And you have to click on the color that the word is and not the color that it says.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't respond fast enough, he will get shocked.
And also, if he gets it wrong, he'll be shocked.
Yes. And Cody gets to register the reply times, apparently. So, like, Cody has some control over him getting shocked, apparently.
I think he decides how quick he needs to be.
Yeah. Zach starts the test, and at first he's doing pretty well. But then he starts getting them wrong, and he gets shocked a lot. And Cody is, like, shocking him, and he's like, it's moving too fast. And
basically, Cody's doing everything to make it so he's just forever in pain because Cody's a little bit psychopathic.
Yeah.
I think that's Cole Sprouse going method.
Zach is like, fine, shock me as long as we'll be even afterwards. And Cody goes, we'll never be even.
You took Yale away from me.
Cut to Bailey complaining more to London and Woody about Cody. And they're like at a fish market and they see some crabs and London talks to the crabs. And the crabs plan to escape. And then they start jumping out of the tank and chasing them around, which I loved the like POV camera of the crab.
The crab just goes, what?
So they like put a camera, well, they put like claws around the camera so it looks like the crab is chasing them. And I thought that was fun.
It was fun and cute. These little cutaway gags could have been in a better movie. I feel like all of them are essentially filler, but they're also much better than the main plot.
So true.
If it was a movie just of this would be like a bad movie, not an awful movie.
I find Bailey annoying, but London talking to fish is entertaining enough.
And Woody's there.
He's
not a negative comparatively.
At lunch, back at the research, the twins that are like also part of the research, the ones that have rhyming names, they're all being really weird.
Nellie and Kelly, and also Ben and Sven.
Is that their names? Ben and Sven? I know one was Sven. Ben and Sven. They're all like being super nice to each other and helping each other, and it's kind of creepy. But not Zach and Cody. They hate each other and they're like, whoa, you guys don't get along? And Cody's like, yeah, Zach constantly ruins my life. And Zach's like, well, I came here to help you, didn't I? And Cody's like, you only came here because I promised you the car. And the other twins are like, oh my gosh, but if you hurt your twin, you hurt yourself. And Zach and Cody are like, no. See, if I pinch the other one or like pour water on them, nothing happens to me. So they're just like
They're
doing mean
using
stuff to each
excuses
other.
to beat each other up.
Yeah, and it's lame and not that entertaining.
Better than most of their shenanigans because they're actually on the same side about it.
Yeah.
They're both like, hey, I can do this to you.
Then they're served some of the same fruit that London ate earlier, and the ones that they fed the dolphin. And at first they're not excited to eat it, but Dr. Olson, he's like, oh no, this is the fruit that's key to my research. It's delicious. Yeah.
Fruit.
It's delicious. And then they eat the fruit and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so delicious. And they like give all these weird metaphors about how delicious, like tasting a rainbow or something.
It's Skittles.
It's Skittles. And it goes on for too long, just like all of the jokes in this movie.
This movie's only an hour, 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it feels like it should be non-existent.
Every single joke and line of dialogue is unclever and boring.
Yeah. Can you tell we're not fans of this movie?
That night, Cody's talking in his sleep and he's like, Bailey, I love you. And then he falls off the top bunk and both twins go ow. Like Zach also says ow. And Zach's like, why did you hit me? And Cody's like, I didn't hit you. And he's like, well, maybe you hit me on the way down because my arm hurts. They're like, well, that's weird.
That's suspicious.
Yeah. So the next day, Cody wants to call Bailey. But then he also says never confront a woman when she's angry or calm for that matter.
It's because he doesn't know how to talk to women.
Funny. But then Dr. Olson comes up and he's like, no phones, it interferes with our instruments.
It's not really that. It's because you don't want people to contact about your weird, creepy twin call.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, guys, today you're going to do sports and training exercises. And Cody's like, uh-oh, I'm not very good at sports. But it's okay. They need to work together as a unit. And it's for science. So now it's time for the sports and stuff. The other twins of the research are like weirdly in sync. Ben and Sven are like moving in the exact same way. They're playing tennis with them. Zach hits Cody with the ball, but they both feel the pain. And they play some more, and you can tell that Zach and Cody are not in sync with each other. They are not getting along.
Meanwhile, Ben and Sven are just literally mirroring each other in every move.
And they finish each other's sentences, but there's like way too much of a pause in between.
You know what this is like? This is like Wii Sports when you're playing 1v1, but it's doubles.
Right.
You are controlling two Miis on your side. It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same. The way that they like finish each other's sentences is like, you guys just need to be in sync with each other. Like there's a weird pause.
This movie doesn't feel natural. Why do they have so much camp and cool stuff in this fake experiment?
They have like ropes courses.
Everything here. Yeah, they're about to go onto the ropes course and zip line and everything here.
It's like a summer camp. It's on a lake.
It's a summer camp. It's really cool and well set up.
Is it Camp Rock? But like not in the summer because they're on spring break.
It's Camp Spring.
It's the same campgrounds as Camp Rock.
But like, again, nothing in here actually makes logical sense in a psychological experiment, including this giant, beautiful campus. There's no psychological benefit to having them test like this.
I get why, like, maybe tennis would help them, like, work together and stuff, but I don't get the ropes courses.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Ropes course is a pretty solo activity, honestly.
Or zip line.
Yeah. What the hell?
So they do the ropes course and the zip line and stuff, and they still feel each other's pain. And Cody's struggling with the physical stuff, and little girls laugh at them. In the middle of their little montage, they realize, like, oh my gosh, I feel everything you feel. But then they just drop it. Like, they do talk about it, but it's just so weird that they randomly throw the realization in, like, the middle of this montage. Then they just go on the zip line. They're like, oh, that's weird. Let's go on the zip line. And then, they get stuck in the middle of the zip line and they hit each other. How did they get stuck in the middle of the zip line?
They lose momentum. I don't know. It can happen. That happens on zip lines sometimes. I feel like they're just here for the zip line.
Bailey is still yelling at people. She's yelling at couples for being in love. She's like, don't. They'll break your heart.
She's very dramatic.
And then Woody's like, maybe Cody isn't calling anymore because blah, blah, blah. Like, it's great. Like, maybe he fell off a mountain or something. I don't know what he said. I don't remember. It was stupid. And Bailey's like, no, he's not calling anymore because I'm ignoring him. And he thinks that just because he's not calling me that I'll stop ignoring him or something. But I'm not going to call him. And then Bailey's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And Woody's like, no, not the big D. And she's like, yep, Cody, you are deleted.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my God. Okay, back to the twins. Cody goes to Dr. Olson. He's like, hey, it's kind of weird, but Zach and I are like feeling what the other feels. It's weird. And Dr. Olson's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That means the fruit is working. They go hook Zach up to the shocking machine again. And this time when he gets shocked, Cody feels it too. And they're like, yes, it's the fruit. Now that we're done with stage 1, it's time for stage 2. Empathy. Stage 1 was a physical connection. Stage 2 is an emotional connection.
And Zach's like, feel the emotions of this nerd. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm okay feeling his pain for some reason.
Yeah. Zach tries to leave the whole camp, but Cody yells at him. And Zach's like, stop blaming me for everything. If you had just given me the car, I wouldn't have had to follow you. And
all about the car.
Cody's like, fine, go. It's another thing I won't forgive you for. And they're like, man, I hate being your twin. And then they start hitting themselves so that the other one feels the pain.
They could just hit the other one, but yeah, whatever.
But, no.
Yeah, they go through a whole series where they're like giving each other wedgies. They're like choking themselves out. And it's just, you feel the pain regardless. And it's supposed to be funnier than it is.
It's stupid.
That's a whole movie in general.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it makes me wonder if the show was bad. But I feel like a lot of it is just higher quality cameras and camera angles and everything for having a movie budget.
A full hour and a half.
Makes you really think like it's going to be a higher quality product than what a show would normally deliver. And maybe just like the formatting of everything changing really breaks it. I don't know. I can't vouch for On Deck. Yeah.
So as Zach's leaving, Nellie follows him and she's like, before you go, can we go for a walk first? And he's like, okay. And he's like, oh, it's hard to be a twin, huh? And he's like, no, it's just hard to be Cody's twin. And Nellie's like, Kelly and I learned to get along because of Dr. Olson. After the merge, you're going to feel better. You'll merge with Cody and it'll fix everything. Please stay. And Zach's like, okay, I'll stay.
Yay.
Then we see some science stuff happening with the fruit. And Dr. Olson's like, sorry, Cody, but without Zach here, you're no use to me. But then Zach comes in and he's like, it's okay, I'll stay. I'll do the next stage. Nellie convinced me. And they're like, sick, let's do it. And they eat more fruit. And they're like, yes, the fruit is so delicious. It's the most delicious fruit I've ever eaten.
It's so good, I'm gonna blah, blah, blah.
I'm gonna eat some Skittles.
I'm gonna do more fruit.
Yep. Back to Bailey. She's walking the ship deck. Mosby finds her, and Bailey's like, I deleted Cody, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I found this letter. It has for your name on it. Yeah, it's from Cody. And she's like, I shouldn't open it, but should I open it? And he's like, I don't care, just open it. And then she does. And it's a very long letter. It's multiple pages long, as I mentioned earlier. And she's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. You're doing the internship, but it's because you want to get a scholarship to Yale? What?
I don't believe this lack of communication. It makes no sense.
And then she reads, if I want to go to the school of my dreams, I can't be with the girl of my dreams. And she's like, oh my God. And then Lennon
Also, this
Woody,
is for 1 week. What the
Lennon
hell?
and Woody come up and they're like, hey, Cody's lame. And she's like, no, don't say that. He's the sweetest fella in the world.
And they're like,
They're like,
what?
okay.
That's different.
So just because he wanted a scholarship to Yale,
Well, maybe
it
this
makes the
letter
whole
was
thing
just
great.
incredible.
Maybe it was. It's
Because
written in calligraphy.
Cody was very confident if she read the letter, all would be fine.
But literally the only piece of information that we're given that's in the letter is that
The Yale
she
scholarship.
wanted a scholarship to Yale. And that makes the whole thing okay. It makes him the sweetest guy ever.
Again, their relationship is toxic.
It is. It
They
really
have
is.
physical violence always on the table. They have extreme like relationship flashes where they're angry at each other. Or mainly Bailey's angry or she's like kind. They're not stable in any sort of manner. And I just don't think they work. Why are they together?
Okay, back to the twins. Cody says, hey, thanks, Zach, for coming back. And then they realize that they can feel what each other feels like emotionally. And they go over some hamster trauma when they were kids. And they're like, oh my God, we're feeling empathy.
They're starting to cry because they feel
crying.
each other's sadness.
And Zach's like, oh my God, I see what it means to you to want to get into Yale. I'm so sorry. And Cody's like, I know that you're sorry. Oh my God, I know that you know. And Cody's like, oh, Zach, you wanted the car because you don't know what you want to do with your life? And Zach's like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do with my life.
And I don't think you need a car for that.
He's like, you're going to college and I just want a cool car.
And it's played very serious. I don't believe Zach's thought for a second.
And Cody's like, you're gonna find what you want to do with your life. You're gonna do great. And then they hug themselves, like they hug like a self hug because
they're right next to each other. They could hug
yeah,
each other so easily, and it would feel like 2 hugs.
it would feel like 2 hugs. Instead, they have 1 hug.
Yeah,
because they're hugging themselves. It's for the gag.
but
it's for the jokes.
They
Don't
could have
you
hugged
get
each
it?
other and then said,
don't you love this
feels
movie?
like 2 hugs. I do not love this movie. I hate this movie. I'll be real.
I'm never gonna watch this movie again unless I watch all of Sweet Life.
Unless we do the podcast in like 20 years.
Again?
Yes.
I
By popular demand.
I will not want to do
If this gets 1,000 likes, we'll
do
watch
every one again.
Just this one.
Oh, just this video podcast has to get likes.
Yeah.
And we'll watch every single DCOM ever again.
If this ever blows up.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. Meanwhile, off in the distance. So Zach and Cody are like up on a hill,
so dumb.
many yards away. Many yards.
This is like 30 yards away.
Yeah, it's a pretty big. Like you could not really make out details on their face because they are so far away. It's Dr. Olson and Nellie, and he's like, good job, Nellie, for getting Zach to stay. They're almost ready for the merge. And Zach and Cody are listening in somehow. I really thought they just had moved down the hill and were actually close to them. But when they cut back later, you can see that they're like 30 yards away.
Yep.
And it's absolutely ridiculous that they're like, oh, yeah, we can clearly hear everything they're saying. It's a shame Cody's gonna have to lose his brain for the merge.
He's so smart.
But it's for the greater good. And then Zach and Cody freak out about this because they heard everything. And Zach's like, we should leave. And Cody's like, no. We have to save all the other twins. And Zach's like, I can feel that you're right. Oh, stupid empathy. And then they're like, let's go break into his office.
Yep, because that's obviously the next step.
I mean, that's not a bad plan. So then they go into Dr. Olson's office. Well, they can't get in because it's in a separate room. And Zach's like, let's go through the air vents and shit. But then Cody's like, let's just open the door.
It's a fine enough gag, but it's
Yeah.
not done well.
Yeah.
Again, like if this movie was better, I could get past this because it's fine, but
Yeah.
it's still just not good.
On the computer, they like, oh, cool. These are the stages of the experiment.
So now we get the full, basically evil monologue, except the twins give it, which is fine
Yeah,
enough
they're
mix
like,
up.
stage 1, physical. Yep, did that. Stage 2, emotional connection. Cool, cool, cool. Stage 3, the merge. During the merge, the twins become one person that can be controlled. Stage 4 is hive mind. A single voice will control all of the merged twins. And Cody's like, oh my God, this is crazy. Let's free all the twins. And make sure you don't eat any more fruit. But while they've been reading all this, Zach has been eating more of the fruit.
Literally the whole time. Like, what
Yeah.
a dummy.
And they're like, oh my God, no. What happens if only one of us eats the fruit? And then Zach starts repeating everything Cody says because
This doesn't make sense, but whatever.
he's becoming Cody.
Also, what the hell is this fruit that apparently you can just pick off a tree and it makes twins?
Well, earlier, Dr. Donald was like, you have to mix it with jellyfish. I don't know if they still do that.
I think they do that to make the dolphins eat it.
Maybe. Dr. Olson comes in. He goes, well.
Yeah, he says well several times. I think Cody or Zach goes, that's a deep well. It's like,
Back to
commercial break.
Back to Dr. Donald. He's longingly looking at all of the dolphins.
Because he wants to have sex with them.
He's very intimately looking at these dolphins. Bailey comes in and is like, oh my gosh, I'm looking for Cody. And Dr. Donald's like, I banned him for life. I banned him and Zach for life. And he points to a picture. This is the one joke of the movie I find funny, by the way. He points to the picture and it's one of those red circles with a dash. And Cody's crying and Zach's like smiling with like a thumbs up or something.
Yeah. It's just the picture of them crossed out. It's like, I banned them. And the camera just pans over to the sign. Like, it's a good bit.
It was a good bit. It was the one joke I think is funny.
It is why I would say it's why it's not last, but at least it's not why it's not last.
Yeah. So then London talks to the dolphin some more, and the dolphin tells her where Zach and Cody are. She's like, "Oh, okay, cool, thank you." And Dr. Donald's like, "Whoa! You can talk to the dolphins?" And she's like, "Yeah." Ever since
talk to dolphins?
Well, she's like, "I ate the fruit here, and ever since then, I can talk to dolphins and fish
One
and
tip in
crabs."
making scientific breakthroughs.
Yeah, and Dr. Donald's like, oh my God, that's the key. Humans have to eat the fruit too. He really never thought of that. He literally never once thought maybe humans should eat this.
Nope.
He's stupid.
Yep. That's what Yale does to you.
I don't get the science of the fruit where like the twins eat it, but they only have a connection with each other.
Oh, again, nothing makes sense about this in any sense of way. That's what I was saying earlier.
But then London eats it and can talk to every sea creature. They only did it so that she could talk to crabs because she literally only talks to dolphins and crabs.
Yep. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. Also, Dr. Don's like, oh my gosh, Zach and Cody are in trouble. I don't know why he knows that, but they are. Back to Dr. Olson and the twins. He's like, oh, so you guys know the whole plan, do you? And they're like, yep, and they're tied up. And they're in a half merge right now. That's why Zach is like repeating everything Cody says because only Zach ate the fruit. They're in a half merge. And then as they're tied up, they're not even tied up though because they just get up from the chairs.
Basically, he was never in a power position.
Yeah, they're just sitting in chairs. Never mind. Forget them being tied up. They're sitting in chairs. And then the twins have like a telepathic conversation. They can read each other's minds. And Dr. Olson's like, stop reading each other's minds. And then they're like, okay, let's run. So they're running away. And he's like, oh no, stage 4 must commence earlier than planned. So he grabs a little remote and a big laser comes up from inside the building. And all the twins in the camp are awoken. And they are basically zombies now. And they're marching around. This doesn't make sense because he says they can only be controlled after they've merged, and none of these twins are merged. They're all separate twins.
They're all merged. They're all mentally.
No, but they have to. I thought the merge was they become one person.
No, they become one person. They're two people who are the same. But they don't say that, like, they are canonically, by the way his plan works, they are merged. It's a dumb way of wording.
Wait, but their bodies stay separate?
Yes.
Oh, and that's what was happening to Zach and Cody at the end of the movie, too? Their bodies would still be separate?
Yes.
Oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
Okay. They should call it something different than the merge. Probably. Maybe not. They should have explained it better. Anyway, Zach and Cody trying to run away, but all the other twins are there. And they all go, "Where are you going, Zach and Cody?" And they're like, "Oh my God, it's a hive mind. Get Zach and Cody. Get Zach and Cody. Get Zach and Cody." They're like, "Let's do the zip line to escape." And then they like climb up to where to get on the zip line, and all of the zombie twins are surrounding them like zombies. And one of them keeps climbing the ladder, and Zach keeps knocking him down. It's like the same guy gets knocked down like 3 times. Pretty sad for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cody starts ziplining away without Zach, but then Zach jumps on and they zipline across the lake. Apparently the zipline goes all the way across the lake.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sure.
These zombies, I call them zombies because I don't know.
They're zombies. They basically
are the weakest threat.
I mean, when there's a whole bunch of them, that's like the threat of zombies.
Are literally surrounded at all ends by 3 like person thick at the beginning of this conflict set of zombies, and they just run through them.
Yeah. I mean, they're not actually going to like eat your flesh or anything.
Well, they could have tackled them.
Maybe.
They should have been able to stop them. You literally had probably 50 people surround 2 people that they are actively trying to catch, and they were easily able to just walk through them. Yeah. It's blatantly unlikely. Like, it's blatantly these are no threat. Well, you could not make a more advantageous position for the zombies to be in.
Yeah.
So I don't get why they're called a threat. Also, Mr. Mob Boss Science Man, Dr. Olsen, could have just caught them. You know? He's big and strong enough.
He pulled out a gun and held him at gunpoint.
Yeah, there's so much that could have been done here over this chase sequence, and they just choose the most asinine way to go across this. My God.
So now that they're across the lake, they're at the sawmill. Oh my God, guess what? The sawmill came back. Oh, all the twins. They're like, we did it. We escaped all the twins, but oh no, they're all canoeing across the lake.
Kind of a funny cut.
It is funny cut. Zach's like, I don't want to be in the abandoned sawmill, but they go in anyway. And then they're like inside the sawmill and the machines turn on somehow. And there's like blades. It's like a video game where you have to like run through the blades at perfect timing. It doesn't make sense.
I'm just saying, if they're trying to make a good Zach and Cody video game, they should just go back to the basics.
The CGI is pretty bad too, by the way. Cody's like, I didn't get my monthly tetanus shot. You don't get monthly tetanus shots. That's not how tetanus shots work.
Come on, Cody.
The zombie twins surround them again. So because they made it out of the factory, so then they run back into the factory. Zach and Cody go to the roof and they hide behind some logs. And they're like, if I die, blah, 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 that's what I want. And Cody tells Zach, like, if I die, tell Bailey that I respect her as a woman. And Zach says, no. And Cody says, okay.
I like that just for how absurd it is at this point. They are fully empathetically linked. Yeah. So they know each other's feelings. And Zach still says, that's cringe.
No. I respect her as a woman. I'm not sexist, I promise. He goes, no. The zombie twins work a giant claw machine. This is Sven and Ben, by the way. Where are all the other twins? No idea. I think a lot of them are still in canoes.
Yeah. Some of them are literally standing underwater because they don't need to breathe.
You're so right. Ben and Sven work a giant claw trying to grab Zach and Cody, and they grab a log and they toss it around, and then they swing the log towards Zach and Cody, but they don't touch them somehow. And then Zach and Cody have to jump from the lake, and it's from very high up. And Cody's like, if we die, I want you to know. And then Zach says, yeah, me too.
Yeah, they didn't have to write anything like heartfelt
They
there.
feel
They
empathy.
could just say they thought it to each other.
Yeah. We don't want to see these two actually have a heartfelt moment because that might make the movie good.
So if they did end up making the third Sweet Life series that was like potentially going to be a thing, but it wasn't, would they have kept this mind meld?
They don't have it in the finale of the show, do they?
I don't know. I haven't seen the
I
finale.
wonder if it wears off. I wonder if Lennon can talk to dolphins and fish forever.
That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be fun as hell. Anyway, they jump into the lake. And they're like, yes, we're in the lake. We made it. But then some zombies pop up from underwater. This is what we meant when, like, they don't need to breathe, apparently, because they were just under the water. And they pop up. They're like, wow, it's us. And more show up on canoes. And they're like, oh, we didn't make it. We were wrong. Back in the lab, Zach and Cody were brought back, and now they're hooked up to the machine again. And Dr. Olsen is going to merge them, and it's going to hurt. But then Bailey, London, Woody, and Donald show up. Is Mosby there? I didn't write that he was there.
Mosby's not there yet. He gets there at the very
Oh,
end.
right. He does. He shows up later. Okay, cool. But then before they can go and save the twins, Dr. Olsen puts up like a force field that if you touch it, it'll shock you. And Woody gets shocked. I don't know why he has this.
It's really dumb. It's also through the rest of this like end sequence. No, everyone just accepts that this force field's impenetrable after Woody touches it and gets shocked.
Yeah.
Because they could go and like look for electric plugs to spark for like emergency things to do, but instead they just watch.
They just watch what's
the
happening.
Evil plot take place and act helpless.
Yeah.
Because reasons, I don't know. It's bad.
But guess what?
What?
The doctors know each other, apparently.
Wait, how did they know each other?
Ronald, show them who you really are. And then Dr. Olsen, his name is Ronald, by the way, he takes off his face skin mask to reveal he's a different person. Oh my God, he's Donald's identical twin.
Whoa.
Their names are Donald and Ronald.
Whoa. Yeah, so
Donald goes, this is Ronald, my evil twin brother. He disappeared 2 years ago when the Science Academy threw him out or something.
Yeah. I want to point out that the actor who plays Donald, or not Donald, the actor who plays Dr. Olsen, who is now revealed to be Ronald, the evil twin brother, but the one who plays him before the skin mask is replaced, because it's just the same actor as Donald.
Yeah, he plays both guys. Yeah,
he is like noticeably shorter, so he replaces his skin, and then he's just taller for the rest of the film. He was
bending his knees before.
No, he wasn't.
Ronald wanted to merge all the twins since he suffered as a twin, and he was always in Donald's shadow. So this is when we get like little flashbacks of his plan. Okay, this was his evil plan the whole time. He's like, I took Donald to work and I dressed up as a janitor, and it cuts back to when he was pretending to be the janitor. And it was when like Cody first got to the facility and he was being shown around, and he was hiding as a janitor, and he took some of the fruit. And then while he's hiding behind his janitor thing, he takes off his mask.
Yes.
Why would he do that?
Very big. I mean, it's to show the audience. But
we already know.
We already know. And also, it's such a big security hazard for your plan.
Yeah.
That it's dumb.
And then he keeps going. He says, I read the paper that Cody wrote and followed them onto the ship. And then another flashback happens. And it was back when Cody and Bailey were talking at the beginning of the movie. This scene canonically happened before the scene of the other flashback when Cody was being shown around the facility. So, like, this happened before he stole the fruit?
Yep.
Apparently?
Well, Not before he stole the
Well,
fruit, because he already had
no,
set up
it
all
showed
these
him
plans.
stealing the fruit in the other flashback, and we know that scene happened before this scene.
Maybe he has to continuously steal the fruit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
The
It
flashbacks
doesn't
are out of
make
order. They're out of
sense.
order. And anyway, he's like, I followed Cody on the boat.
Which, why would he even need to spy on Cody on the boat? He didn't need
He
Cody.
wanted Cody. He read his essay and it was so good.
It was so good he had to do all of this. He could have just told Cody, like, come work for me, and he probably would have.
If he's already merged all of these twins, why does he need another set of twins?
That's what I'm saying.
And he said
like,
at the beginning of the
you could also get other
movie,
twins way easier.
he said at the beginning of the movie, it's because they like hate each other.
Is that true or no?
I don't know.
It's dumb. I don't care.
It doesn't really make sense. Anyway, so he followed them on the ship and he learned how to get to them. And that's his evil backstory. And then Ronald starts up the machine. And Zach and Cody pass out. And then he hits more buttons on the machine. And Zach and Cody become like hologram ghost people. And they float up in the air. And they're like, yes, the murder's happening. Or no, the murder's happening. And they argue about whose brain they're going to merge into. And then they start fighting and it starts ruining the merge. And Bailey's like, yes, keep fighting. It's breaking the merge. So they keep fighting. And Ronald's like, stop, you'll destroy everything. And they're still fighting. And they're like, I'm better. I'm better. Cody says, at least I have a car. And Zach gets so mad that he just causes explosions and explosions happen. And then they go back to their normal bodies and all of the machines explode. And they did it. Oh my God, hooray. But Ronald isn't happy. And then Cody's like, Zach, go get some of the fruit. Bailey, on my cue. Like, he doesn't even tell her what to do. She just understands.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, Bailey, now. And she like lassos Ronald. She's like, giddy up, little pig. Yeehaw. Lasso. And then Cody's like, here, Dr. Donald and Dr. Ronald, you should both eat the fruit. So now they feel empathy towards each other. And they're like, oh my God, I understand you now. We like each other now.
It's, oh my God.
And then Mr. Mosby shows up with the cops. And Ronald's like, Donald, I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's okay, I forgive you. After prison, let's get lunch.
Even though that'll be like 100 years from now.
Yeah, apparently, this is bad enough that Ronald is gonna get life in prison, which I guess it is.
He should.
He should, but I doubt. Like, he's white. He probably will get out.
He's also presumably rich.
Yeah, he's gonna get a lot out, really.
But he was very sloppy with his evil scheme. He could have easily gotten away with all of this.
Yeah, and then they're like, Zach and Cody, I guess you make a pretty good team. Back to the ship. Now we're in the end of the movie. Bailey and Cody are walking together, and she's like, I'm so happy we got to do all these things together. Because apparently they spent the rest of, 3 days probably doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been that long. So it's like, yes, we got to spend our spring break together. And then Zach rolls up in the fancy vintage car, and he's in a no parking zone, but he just ignores the signs that says he can't park there. And he waves to Cody and all the other characters. But then the car gets crushed by a giant metal container, and London's like, oh, it's my clothes. And then that's the end of the movie. So
the whole plot of Zach was, I want this car, I want this car, I want this car. He gets the car breaks. It's not even funny enough to laugh at. This movie's bad.
It's bad. This movie sucks.
We can talk about it.
Thank God it's over.
This movie really makes me wonder if the shows were any good. And I'm not dedicated enough to go investigate.
I'm confident the first show was good. And I know I was a kid when I watched it. But I think I know enough to know that it was good. I can't really say if Sweet Life on Deck was good. I think it was definitively worse. But maybe some parts were still good.
I don't know.
This movie was not good.
This movie feels so unnecessary.
Yeah.
And so disingenuous to what I remember fondly about the OG show. And it's just sad.
I think the Sweet Life series probably just went too long. Like it was better when they were kids, but now they're teenagers, and all the charm is gone.
In Jank House, we ranked this 111th overall in our combined ranking.
It's very low.
This is out of 115 that we ranked.
Yeah, so it's very close to the bottom.
Sweet Life movie for me got 110th, and for Kelsey got 105th.
Yeah, it's F tier for both of us.
Yeah, it very little like we can say good about it.
Yeah.
So, but it's not last, and I still don't think it'll be last. I'm very confident it won't be last. There's a movie that's
it's
in a
not
whole
last.
separate tier.
Like I have it low, but there's a few movies that I still have low. I have 10 movies below it. Yeah, because I ranked out of 115. Which honestly, I might lower this movie a couple more steps.
There's just so little redeeming about it.
I have Ready to Run below it. I think this movie is worse than Ready to Run.
This movie's worse than Ready to Run.
I would change that. I also have it above Phantom of the Megaplex, which I hate Phantom of the Megaplex too. I do have it above You Lucky Dog. I think that's probably still true. I do not like You Lucky Dog. I have it below
You Lucky Dog. Here's the thing. You Lucky Dog at least had pulling a gun in court.
That was funny.
Pretty wild. I feel like there's never a moment of excitement in this film. But hey, we'll get to that in like ranking episodes. We'll argue then.
Yeah, we can be done with this movie for now. That was Sweet Life movie. Not fun. Thank you for listening all the way. If you did. If you do like this movie, sorry.
Let us know why.
Let us know why.
We'll go with an open mind. You are entitled to your own opinion. Don't let us impact it. Mm-hmm. If you find enjoyment, good job. We couldn't.
We could not. Email us at the DCOMduo@gmail.com.
Follow our social of TikTok.
We're also on YouTube.
And Spotify and Apple Podcasts for however you want to listen. Yeah. Maybe at some point we'll get YouTube Shorts back up and going. Kelsey's been pumping out TikTok, so
not
good.
Super consistently, but sometimes they come out. Thank you guys for listening. It's time to spin the wheel.
I think it's gonna be zombies.
That'd be so fun. I think we're definitely due for a good movie because we've had a few stinkers. I want to watch Minutemen.
Minutemen would be fun.
I love Minutemen. And you want zombies. All right, let's do it.
Roll it.
It's Quinn's. Oh my god. This is not a good one.
We had what I asked for too long.
This is not what I want. This is not what I planned.
Well.
Oh my god. We are
rolling out of this.
We are hitting all of our bottom movies. Like, we had it so good at the beginning of this set of 10, and now we are having it so bad.
It is so dichotomous.
I'm actually a little excited. This was the first movie in our marathon that we definitively hated. And so much so that like we would rank them as we went. We would put sticky notes on our wall. We like hid this one behind a fire extinguisher.
This one is so very low on like our personal list.
Yeah.
And honestly, genuinely, it probably doesn't deserve it.
I'm excited to revisit it and give a new opinion.
It only can go up, especially we watched it pretty early on in our marathon.
Yeah. It was early.
We just were not in the right headspace for it. Maybe if we go in with the right headspace, it'll be better. But man, get ready for Quince.
Get ready for Quince. Oh my goodness. Tune in 2 weeks. We will talk about
Quince.
Kimberly Brown. Is that her name?
J. Brown.
Kimberly J. Brown in Quince. Goodbye. Scenes from our next episode.
You're telling me there's not one, not two, but 5 kids? You can make some money off of
You
this.
can get sponsored for that.
Okay, but imagine if this really cool thing happened. Just
Just
kidding.
kidding. Just
Got you
kidding.
there. You thought this movie was going to be fun? Pranked.
You really thought I Thanos snapped the Statue of Liberty away? You didn't.
I'm just a pathological liar as a storytelling device, and all of the actual choices are way less interesting.
Hate getting attention from my parents. Oh my god, my parents aren't giving me attention.
I like to draw the babies. They're my drawing
I
subjects.
think the babies deserve respect, but also I resent the babies.
Mom, I don't want to go to school. I just want to do art.
Why don't you go to my art show?
Why would you go to my art show?
I want attention. I want your attention. I'm a liar.
That is the one truth.